Hey there, hi there, Aquarius, and welcome to your love reading. Okay, so um, let's see what is going on. So I'm going to do you and your person, and we're going to get some insight into what exactly is going on in regards to you and your person. So up first, we have loss. Okay, this is so freaking sad. Look at the little petal falling from the flower. Okay. Oh my gosh. You know when you were a kid and your mom used to tell you about that thing that is like probably one of like the oldest, like historically oldest ways that girls would see if a boy liked them or not. And it was like a fun little game. And I feel like moms taught their daughters this game. And it was plucking the petals off the flower. He loves me, he loves me not. He loves me, he loves me not. He loves me, he loves me not. He loves me. Remember that game? I don't know if your mom taught you that or not, but my mom did, and I wonder if her mom taught her that, and so forth and so on. But it's probably like one of the like historically oldest games ever. Um, so loss here. I immediately go straight to like death, like the loss of a loved one, in the literal sense. But I also want to know, like, how did that game originate? He loves me. He loves me not. Let's see. Shall we? Okay. He loves me, he loves me, not books. Ooh, it's a game of French origin in which one person seeks to determine whether the object of their affection returns that affection. Okay, this makes total sense now. Okay, French are like, that is like the epicenter of like love, right? Love language, like the language of love is like French, right? Okay, in 1872, ooh, a person playing the game alternately speaks the phrases he or she loves me and he loves me not while picking one petal off a flower, usually an oxeye daisy. Ooh, I wonder if this is an oxeye daisy or not. I'm not sure. Okay, let's see. What does an oxeye daisy look like? Oh, so actually, an oxeye daisy is like white petals with a yellow center. So this one's like a very dark purple with a pink center, a red center. So that's very interesting. So this could be, like finding out someone is like, going through something really difficult right now at this time. I feel like this is your person and like you are seeing your person going through this difficult time. Okay, so let's see. Okay, yeah. And we have summer for you. Summer. Okay, so um, I think like the hummingbird flying to the flower on the girl's like headband here, in her hair here. It's very like subtle hints that like warmer times are coming, happier times are coming. But right now you're just like going through a phase of difficult times. Okay, the hummingbird is, I feel like, a message is an insight to you receiving messages from your spirit guides and understanding that the the bigger the loss or the harder the loss or the bigger the shock of the loss, the longer it takes, the harder it is, right? Because sometimes in advance if you're going to lose someone you care about, and that doesn't make it necessarily any easier, but it does let you know what's going on and then you begin processing it. But if it's a shock and it's like a tragic, um, traumatic shock to your system, then it's going to take longer to process that loss. So I feel like your person has suffered a great loss, and you're like summertime to them. Like your warm, fuzzy feelings. Well, like your trees growing, flowers blossoming, birds chirping. Like you remind them of summer and all that summer represents. Okay. I also see here a mother here. I feel like this person looks at you as a mother figure in their life. Okay, like you represent the ultimate, perfect, most beautiful, most authentic mother. Okay, this woman here, she's pregnant. Okay, so that's Empress energy. Okay, right off the bat there, that's Empress energy. Okay, so and she's wearing a flowery dress. Okay, so flowers are, a symbol usually of like hope and renewal. Okay, they represent summer. So when you are looking at love and you're like daydreaming about love, does he love me? Does he not? Oh, are we, is he crushing on me? Is he not? It's like this love is much deeper than that. Okay. Like there is like fun and games, but then you take away fun and games, and then all that's left is the realization that you have to deal with difficult times and hardships, especially when there's a loss. So I think your person, definitely looks to you as like a nurturer and a caregiver and somebody who is holding on to something and creating life. Summer is all about life, right? Spring is about the start of the life, the new age of like Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius, like it's such a huge thing, the new age of Aquarius. I mean, I hear it very frequently. I've been hearing it. So yeah, I can't really say that like this person is not like going to necessarily love you or nurture you the way you want to be loved and nurtured. Like they're not the one giving off motherly energy. Okay, this is mostly you giving off motherly energy, and therefore they are attaching that energy and giving you like that sort of responsibility. So in the relationship, it's kind of metaphorical to like, you know, come off as like somebody who gives off that energy, but you're also like in a literal sense, you probably are mom. Okay. Summer is the season that symbolizes life, vitality, optimism, and joy. Okay, it is a time of light, expression, and wholehearted action. Summer represents the cultivation of nature's cycle before the onset of winter. Unlike other seasons that mark the end or the beginning of something, summer represents the endless opportunities that await. Okay, and that's what you, at your essence and at your core, represent to your person. They're going through a loss right now. They're going through like the negative things. They're focusing on negative things quite a lot, but they do see you as their summertime. They do see you as their not as like their mom. Obviously, you're not their mother. You're not their biological mother. That would be just gross and weird and creepy. But they do latch on to those qualities that make a good mother, which is nurturing, which is loving, which is caring, which is kind, which is compassionate. Okay. Now we have winter, quite the opposite of summer, right? Am I right? Like, so I feel like they're on the opposite spectrum as far as like individuality goes. Okay, you're over here embracing this summertime, you're embracing flowers, you're embracing motherhood, all of the great qualities that come with that. But there are difficulties nonetheless. But I'm just saying, like, your person is quite stuck in this, cold, harsh winter mindset. Winter doesn't always have to be seen as like a cold, harsh season necessarily. Like there's Christmas time, that's to help you get celebrate the end of winter, sort of getting to the end of winter. Midwinter, right? That's there's traditions, there's family, there's fuzzy warm blankets, there's hot cocoa, there's like all these really good things. Yes, sweetie. So I also think like your person has like very wintry vibes, and that can be like a good thing if they're focusing on the positive. But if they're focusing on this loss right now in their life, and it's taking a lot of their emotional support away from you and your relationship with them, and now they've turned their focus toward dealing with their grief and their loss, or like, I don't want to say dealing with it, I feel like just accepting it, because I don't think they've accepted it yet. So that can take away from the summary energy and vibes that you're giving off, okay? But this connection of the mother energy is still like what it has ultimately drawn them to you, okay? It's like, I feel like it's the qualities you have that make you such a great mom, but I also feel like the qualities that represent what a great mom is, which is loving, kind, nurturing. It doesn't matter if you have a child, literally, or not. Like, you care about people. You are a generous, giving, loving, empathetic human being. And that's what makes you a great person. And that is what makes a great mom. Okay. So let's take a look closer here. I gotta shuffle these. So I think I've got energies from my other reading. Okay. So let's see here. Yes. Okay. Whoa, this one just wants to fly out there. King of Swords. All right. I like this energy for you because it's one of um stability. But it's also one of like you've dealt with some hardships. This relationship hasn't always been easy. There's definitely been some realizations, some hardships. Um, yeah, Six of Cups. Okay, so giving to your person, giving to the the one you want to be with, or being kind and generous with someone, it's it's a selfless act, right? Okay, especially when there's like no strings attached. In this case, there's like the older elf um, giving a cup filled with gifts to the younger elf. Okay, so I feel like for you, it's like for the relationship to be successful, it's equal give and take, right? If you're constantly giving and you're constantly nurturing and you're constantly being the kind, loving, empathetic one, during hard times, during stressful times, your person is doing the opposite of that, because I feel like they're doing the opposite of that because of this loss. I feel like they're doing the opposite of this because they're experiencing a mental like blizzard or a mental cold winter, and they're not focusing on the summer. And this is like in a metaphor, okay? Temperance. Yeah. Um these are these are like the exact same cards that came out in the last reading. There's an angel here on the cup, okay, of the espresso, okay. I feel like for you, it's when you're generous and you're giving and you're expressing your love and you're filling someone's cup emotionally and you're energizing them and you're keeping them afloat, okay, and you're giving them a reason to stay positive, and then you go through something stressful or you go through something difficult and they keep using their grief and their loss to sort of like hijack what you're going through and say like minimize what you're going through. I'm not saying like what they're going through is not worse, okay, and maybe like the grand scheme of things, but I feel like you deserve to at least have somebody in your corner when you are going through stressful things, because you've been in their corner, okay? And they have pushed you away, I feel like. They still care about you a great deal, but I do feel like they've pushed you away also a great deal. Yeah. Oh, look, Knight of Swords coming in to save the day. Oh, look at this little elf riding on this little jet plane. Okay, is this a jet plane? I'm not sure, but they're riding in with their sword. Okay, or flying in, I should say, saving the day. Very positive outlook here. Bright blue skies. Okay, smile on their face. Like, okay, they're charging in because I feel like the approach of the King of Swords is to be like, these things need to happen. Like, people partners need to support each other, okay, in hardships and in difficult times and in stressful times. And I feel like you already are a very strong and wise person, Aquarius. You're already like built to like withstand like a hurricane, right? Or a storm or a tornado or a tsunami of emotions that can very frequently come in and start to like um take over and overwhelm most people. But the point of this is that even if you're in a partnership where you love this person a great deal, and they still keep having like waves of emotions that keep hitting you, I feel like it's time to like Knight of Swords that energy and sort of, fly into the storm and say, enough's enough, right? Like I'm gonna push through this storm. I'm gonna keep going. Sometimes you can't avoid the storm. Sometimes you have to fly through the storm, okay? All right, yeah, Three of Pentacles, collaboration, working with others. This is going to be a big, huge help here for this relationship that you're in, Aquarius, because you are going to need help from other people, okay? You are going to need to call in your support team. You are going to need to call in your soul tribe, your soul family, whoever it is that you rely on when times are tough, okay? You are going to want to call in on that, okay? You're going to want to call in that support, okay? This could be, licensed professionals, okay? Or this could be a more like, um, spiritual type of collaboration here, okay? But either way, the collaboration is crucial, okay? Because I feel like it's putting you in the direction you need to go with this relationship, okay? In particular with this individual. Yeah, the Emperor. Yeah, I feel like your person is giving off very like Emperor energy, but in a way that could borderline on toxic if they are relying on you emotionally for support or physically for support, and you are whenever it's like, I mean, it's like it shouldn't be. I mean, I guess couples take turns, but like I feel like it should be like equal give and take. I feel like it should be like, okay, I'm here for you, but are you here for me? You know what I'm saying? And I feel like sometimes Emperor, if in reverse, for instance, can get very toxic and very like Henry VIII, like off with their heads, like you know, very egotistical, very like you know all right, my 1-year-old. Oh my goodness. Okay, I don't know why they love screaming so much. I don't really have no idea, honestly. They just like scream out in joy, and it's like I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay, 9 of Cups. Okay, yeah. See, this could be seen as an emotional investor, but it can also, um, yeah. So it could be seen as an emotional investor, but it can also be seen as someone who um, doesn't always see or understand exactly what's going on, and therefore makes like decisions based off their own like previous relationships. This is like a third party like sort of situation where like you already have like a lot of support, but relying on someone to come in and sort of like help the person you're with, and I feel like it's a parental figure. It's like if this person doesn't understand emotional intelligence, or they don't understand how to support someone during like a very terrible hard time, because they're in that terrible hard time in a different aspect, okay, then it can be like it's just good to like I feel like inform this like person or these people that have these energies, but I feel like they don't know what to do or how to handle situations, so they kind of sort of like don't help. And I don't mean any offense to them. They kind of sort of make matters worse. You know what I'm saying? Like their intention may or may not be good, but it's like they don't. Either way, the intention is not what is needed. Okay. Um, yeah, Knight of Cups. This is what's needed. Emotional intelligence. Someone who knows clearly where things need to go and what direction they need to go in. And is meeting with the Knight of Swords in a way that is I feel like historically, like when your person is like of sound mind and they are willing to like put their ego aside and choose the right path, then they come off less as like a toxic, egotistical, like emperor energy, and they come off as more of a supportive Knight of Cups, emotionally stable, ready to make the journey, ready to make wise decisions that help the emotions of both parties. And the Knight of Swords is there just as well to be like, yeah, we're gonna be a force for good, a force of positivity, and not a force of like evil. You know what I'm saying? But like, I know that's like a big, broad spectrum like concept of like what I'm talking about here, but overall, like if you want to be a couple, like a power couple, right? You want to be strong and you want to be together and you want to get to enjoy the journey and all these other things, like, but at the end of the day, there was like this one tarot reader that I really like, and she was saying and explaining like um you marry a person, right? And you either die together or you don't, right? Like that's kind of how it goes. So if you're willing to like continue the journey through all the different energies that are encompassed in that journey, um, together till like the very end, then that's you know that's basically it. But I also think it's like sometimes you know you don't necessarily like die together, right? Like especially if like you remarry, okay, or like especially if you divorce and then remarry the same person. I mean, that's happened to Elizabeth Taylor. Hello, like so. I think there's like the perception of like you don't have to take things so literal, like we're gonna die together. Like you might not even die on the same day, okay? Like it's not the Notebook, okay? Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but maybe there's like a tragic death and you both die tragically at the same time. All right. So, anyways, like I mean, and also like Henry VIII, like he didn't die with his wives, right? A lot of them died beforehand. So, um, I don't know. I just think like you have to like realize that like you're going individually on a path your whole life, and then you meet someone and you want to like say live with them or have children with them. Sometimes you break up, sometimes you move away from each other, and then you end up getting back together, or sometimes you don't get back together but you still stay in touch and they're still involved as like a friend, or they're still involved as far as like a co-parent goes. So um I just feel like you can still like always like love the person that you met on your individual journey, and you can love the fun experiences you had with them. But if like the fun experiences are like a handful of experiences, and then there's like so many bad days with that person, and it takes all of your willpower and all of your strength and all of your mental fortitude to like keep recreating like fun memories and keep recreating beautiful experiences with that person, and they aren't doing that, or they're just like tagging along, right? Or they're like giving you a lot of hardships on like the work days or the off days of having fun, you know. I just like I don't really want to say like that, like they're not worth trying to continue with, but because that's up to you ultimately. But I am saying like if their emotional detachment from you due to this loss has grown exponentially to the point where like you might experience like 3 or 4 really awesome days with this person out of like 365 days. I mean, statistically, like that's like very low amount of quality good beautiful time and energy that you spend with this person. And if it takes all of your effort and energy to like not look at all those other 360-ish days, um, that is a lot of heavy weight and time to carry. Um, and yeah, there's other circumstances that can stop you from wanting to, take a break, right? This person could just like be a very stubborn and very challenging, difficult person in general to get along with, to the point where like they don't want to move out, right? Or they don't want to give you a break, or they don't want to break up, or they don't want to get a divorce. And they want to keep trying. But if they keep pushing you and pushing you and pushing you day after day, week after month after month, to the point where you're like, look, I've included you in like 10 really awesome fun events that I put a lot of energy and time into making sure we're going to be fun and great and beautiful, and sharing these moments with you, sharing this energy with you. And then in turn, a day or two later, you are completely emotionally detached from me again. And this goes on for another month, another week, another year. I mean, a year is a long time, okay? So you got to think about that in perspective, because I feel like overall you're a very loving, caring, nurturing person. But if you are constantly having to like weather a storm every day, every week, every month, every year, and it's been 5 years, it's been 6 years, it's been 7, now you're at 10 years, and this person has seen all the beautiful, wonderful energy that you put into this relationship, and all the beautiful, wonderful things that you've created with them. And they, in turn, give you a difficult time over and over again, repeatedly, about being a solid person that they can trust, okay? And that you can trust, okay? It ultimately comes down to that. So just consider that and take that into mind, because everybody grieves in their own way, in their own time. But if it's coming at a cost to you, and they're like projecting a lot of their grief onto you, and their very negative feelings on grief, and their very negative things on their loss onto you, and they're trying to get you to feel blame, or they're trying to get you to feel guilt, or they're trying to not understand the other things going on, then especially when it comes to your feelings and your emotions as well, then it's like they're being very, very, very selfish in the relationship. So just be cautious and aware of that. Yeah, Page of Cups, Three of Swords, and Death. Wow, look at this. Death. Loss and death in the same reading. Okay, a dark shadow looming over this house of light. There's a lot of light coming out of this house, okay, but there's a dark shadow here, kind of like wolf eyes, a dark shadow here, okay? So I feel like you are protected and you are safe here. You're not afraid of this dark shadow. I feel like you have seen so many dark shadows in your life, girl. I feel like, Aquarius, you have like battled a lot of foes in your life, a lot of evil, a lot of darkness. Okay, you have overcome a lot of near-death experiences, a lot of people who have wished you dead, okay, Aquarius, but you have come out stronger than before. I feel like this house, it represents you. This light coming out of this house represents your light force, your light energy, all of the good things that you create, all the warmth you bring, all the life you bring into the world. You have nothing to fear. You have nothing to fear. You do not need to fear this dark shadow. But yet this dark shadow looms in your life, because this person that you're with, even though you love them and even though you care for them, and you have grown to understand them, that doesn't mean that you're going to let this dark shadow into your home. Nuh-uh, sweetie. You're not going to let this into your home. Not for anything. Not for all the diamonds in the world. Okay? So, Three of Swords. Okay? This is definitely like this box, this tattered box. It's supposed to be a gift with all the swords in it. This has happened to you, Aquarius. Okay, this has happened to you in the past, Aquarius, and you know this energy very, very well. Okay, you have lived through this energy, I want to say like 10 times over in your past relationships with other partners. Okay, and I think the number three is significant. I feel like maybe you had like three really great loves in your life, or you had really three really interesting experiences. Loving someone that I don't feel like they loved you back the way you needed to be loved. And that's why the box is tattered. That's why it's ruined, it's destroyed, okay? Now, your heart is not destroyed. The love you give to others is not destroyed. The love you give to yourself is not destroyed. But now you have to be cautious and careful of who you invest in, okay? Of who you invest in emotionally. Because if you are giving your energy and time to one of these swords and they're turning around and being like, nope, sorry, I'm gonna stab you. I feel like you've been with people where they secretly admitted that they cared for you very deeply and wanted a relationship with you, a romantic relationship with you, but the romantic part of it was literally just like them sleeping with you. It wasn't you actually dating publicly. It wasn't them telling their friends and family that they'd fallen for you. It was very secretive. And you kept saying, like, why are you keeping this a secret? Are you ashamed of me? Are you embarrassed of me? Are you embarrassed the way I look? Are you embarrassed the way I dress? Are you embarrassed the way I talk? Why are you keeping me a secret? What is secretive? And they just couldn't give you an answer, right? They didn't want to admit it. They didn't want to be open about it. They didn't want to be honest about it. And this really broke you down, and this really made you feel hurt and sad inside because you are a very um uh like beautiful person inside and out that deserves to have respect and deserves to have recognition, okay, for your love and your devotion to someone, okay? You're a very loyal person when it comes to who you choose to be involved with romantically. And I feel like these past partners did you dirty, okay? Like the way Timothy Chalamet did Zendaya dirty in Dune Part 2. Okay, like that's your Zendaya, okay? You're like freaking Zendaya. Okay, they choose the princess, right? They choose the girl with money, right? Because you're what? Not rich enough. You live in a sand dune. I mean, like, come on. What is? And then it just makes no sense. Okay. But anyway, so basically, now that you're with this person, you're working on these energies with them, you're working on this relationship with them. I feel like you're seeing a lot of repetitive cycles that have occurred from your past experiences, and you are comparing and contrasting. And you don't have to necessarily like compare one person to the other in an unfair, unjust way, but when things are fair and are just, and you know that this person is using you or manipulating you, then it's time to say, well, I've been used before. I've been manipulated before when I was naive and I didn't know what those things were. Now I do know what those things are, and now I do know what you're doing, and I see through it. So this isn't necessary to say you don't love this person or you don't care for them deeply. But Aquarius, it is to say, like, are you feeling like lovey-dovey, like butterflies and kisses, birds and the bees with this person, like cartoon heart eyes? I feel like you know this person well enough to know what the relationship is now, okay? What this person expects of you, what you expect of them, in order for the relationship to be successful, in order for you both to feel loved and wanted and valued and needed. And I feel like this person is holding back a lot. And they have been for quite some time because they are afraid, or I don't even think it's really fear, honestly. I feel like they're just like playing it safe, but they're doing it in a way that they know isn't intentionally hurtful to someone they've been with for a very long time or known for a very long time. Okay? So, Page of Cups. Okay? At the end of the day, you have to give to yourself. You have to love yourself. You have to respect yourself. You have to feed yourself that emotional, nurturing, loving energy that is much needed in your life at this time, Aquarius. So, romantic relationship, I feel like energetically you are in a romantic relationship, but I don't feel like the romance is is quite there. I feel like this is a very literal like relationship where it's like you're taking things very literal. Okay, you're not creating energy anymore that I feel like was in the past where you guys were all like, where the it's almost like the honeymoon phase, right? Where you're just so excited, infatuated with the idea that you met someone who you want to spend the rest of your life with, and you want to go on adventures together, and then something bad happens, and now you're faced with dealing with those bad things or that bad thing, and your person has pulled away a lot as a result of it because they they don't want to emotionally invest anymore in loving another person. I feel like because of this loss, and I feel like they're protecting their heart, but in doing so, by protecting their heart, they're also ultimately turning toward a very dark shadow side where they no longer are showing sympathy and empathy and kindness towards you. So they've kind of like emotionally, like I feel like have broken up with you and pulled away from you, and you know this, and it's very disheartening. But you're not going to stop being your motherly, loving, nurturing, summery, amazing self. Okay, absolutely not. You're still going to give to yourself. The Page of Cups is a card of self love and self care and emotionally fulfilling yourself. And you know how to do this already, and you're going to keep doing this regardless. So, while yes, technically I will say you're not single and you're not like, separated from this person physically or any of that, it's just like it's an energy. It's a mental and emotional energy where this person has pulled away a great deal from the person you fell in love with because they are still grieving this loss. They are still dealing with this loss. And as a result, the relationship is no longer the same as it once was. It's taken a turn toward basically like you are single, but you're not like single. You know what I'm saying? Like you still live with this person. You still plan on family events with this person. You still try to co-parent with this person if you have children. You still try to like coexist with them. You still try to be friendly towards them, but it's ultimately like, what are we really doing? Honestly, like you just don't know anymore. They don't shower you with affections as much, not very rarely. Okay, they don't buy you like little gifts if that's your thing, or flowers if that's your thing. They don't plan things. You plan things and they tag along, but they're not very involved. They've emotionally detached from a lot of aspects of your relationship, and therefore it's no longer the same as it once was. Okay, but at the end of the day, they do still, I feel like they really do still hold you in high regard as a loving, kind individual, even if they don't celebrate it, even if they don't, and I feel like sometimes they can borderline into the toxic Henry VIII Emperor energy, where it's like, you've served your purpose, sort of, you're no longer needed or required. But honestly, though, at the end of the day, like, it's not up to them to decide what you can and cannot do, how you should and should not live your life. So you keep loving yourself, giving to yourself, Aquarius, and knowing that this person is still there, living with you and talking to you, but like, the energy is definitely shifted to a more like, this isn't the same person you knew like 5-6 years ago. Okay, this is a different person now. Okay, and as a result of that, it's like you didn't. You there's a total shift and change. Okay, so getting used to that now, Aquarius. Okay, so love and light to you always. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Bye.